Good morning and welcome to the Gateway Transfer Center. I'm Kim Best with the City of Goldsboro. I've got a few folks here with me to talk about the project we're standing in front of and what you can expect to see in the next few weeks. I'd like everybody to introduce themselves if they would.
I'm Randy Guthrie, Assistant City Manager and Project Manager for our Tiger Construction Project.
Prentice Azell, Project Manager with Daniels & Daniels Construction.
I'm Julie Metz, the Downtown Development Director for the City of Goldsboro.
So let's find out a little bit more about this project. Julie, if you'll tell us what we're standing in front of and how it all came about.
Well, we're standing in front of the site where the Gateway Transfer Center is being constructed. It's about a 4,800 square foot facility that will serve as both the administrative offices for the personnel that work for Gateway, as well as the kind of transfer hub for all the customers that use the Gateway service. And Gateway, if you do not know, serves both an urban route system for the city. I have about 5 routes, if I remember correctly, and they also provide a demand response system for the rural clients. So it has a lot of customer base, and I think they'll be very excited with the new facility. There's a nice waiting room where they don't have one at the current facility. So
Right.
I'm really excited for them to be able to see the changes that they'll be able to experience.
Well, Prentice, can you tell us when the expected completion date is on this particular project?
The completion date is August of this year, 2015.
We don't have too much longer.
No, we're about 6 months.
Well, as we look behind us, we see a tremendous amount of construction going on. Can you tell us a little bit about what we see here?
Well, most of the construction, we've finished all the structural steel. We're moving on the interior as far as framing and rough end as far as plumbing and electrical and those type of things. Project is going well. Really no issues at all, and we're making good progress. We're on schedule and shouldn't have any problems completing it by August.
Fantastic. Randy, can you tell us about the project? There's a second piece of this project coming down Walnut Street. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes. Well, as part of this project, we have a streetscape component that involves streetscape work along Walnut Street, Carolina Street, portions of Mulberry, and Georgia Avenue. And a lot of the work has already been completed along Georgia. There's new sidewalks, sod, curb and gutter been installed, as well as granite curb reset. Along Walnut Street, there's currently sidewalks being constructed, brick paver sidewalks. The granite curb has been reset. New pedestals have been installed for new lighting that matches the streetscape feel of
Right.
our downtown area, and other conduit and electrical and gas line relocations.
So all of that from Center Street coming down Walnut till we get to Union Station over here to our right, and then of course the Gateway Transfer Center behind us. It is all a part of the overall streetscape project, correct?
That is correct. You'll have pavers that mimic or blend in with our downtown or Center Street streetscape project, as well as lighting that will blend in, and it will tie in and give you a nice seamless transition from the downtown for a nice pedestrian walk or feel from our downtown Union Station to our actual Center Street. Yeah.
Fantastic. Prentice, can you tell me a little more about this particular project and how it's going to be in the very end? Once this project is complete, what is it meant to encompass? What is it meant to do?
Well, this project will basically mimic the Union Station. It'll look very similar in architectural style. It will allow local residents to be able to walk up and catch the Gateway and go to any of the routes, destinations in the city. It really will be a nice final product
Right.
in this part of town to help refurbish this area.
Julie, can you tell us a little more background on how we got here? How did we get to this point of having a new Gateway Transfer Center?
Well, it's interesting you ask, because I had somebody call me yesterday from Siler City, the city manager there, wanting to know how we got the Tiger Grant project, what we did successfully to make that happen. And really, you know, I think a lot goes to be said for the city leaders and the time that they took to be very thoughtful and forward thinking in their plans and pulling it all together. We knew we had this beautiful historic station, and we have an interest in partnering with US DOT and North Carolina DOT to make it a passenger rail hub one day. But it sat on this 2-city block property, which would be a great way to create a multimodal transportation facility by relocating Gateway Transfer Center here. So our project, I think the reason it was so successful is it tied in varying modes of transportation.
Right.
It was very thoughtful. It connected to downtown, where the pedestrian and vehicular modes of transportation, and we added bicycle lanes. So we were able to touch on a lot of different types of transportation, really increase the quality of life in this area, and really make an impact on economic development in the community, and specifically downtown. So there are lots of different, I think, reasons that this project was so successful. We were just in Atlanta not too long ago, having our required quarterly meeting with the administrator of our Tiger Grant, the Federal Transit Administration, and they think that the buzzword now and across the United States for transportation is complete streets, and
Wow.
and this project they think is going to be a shining example of it. So
Absolutely. So what do you mean by complete street?
it's this whole concept for transportation of being able to create a system that ties in multiple modes of transportation, improves the quality of life or enhances the quality of life in a community and for its citizens. And that's just what the whole new concept is in designing highways and trail systems and all these ways to connect people throughout a community in a better way.
Absolutely. Well, tell us more about the connection of the Center Street project along with this project. How are they similar, and how do they combine and work together?
Well, we were cognizant of the fact that this site, while it has some commercial uses around it, it intersects through a historic residential neighborhood, and so while we use a lot of the same materials, the design concepts are a little different. The sidewalks are not as wide; they don't need to be for a residential use. And
Right.
So, and the lighting is intended to be enhancing the area in the neighborhood, but not be intruding.
Right. Right.
And so we use a lot of those same materials, but in a way that is sensitive to the residential neighborhood that it goes through. But it was designed to also both aesthetically and functionally serve and connect to downtown. So.
Right. Well, Randy, you're on these sites, all these streetscape sites, on a daily basis. Can you tell us sort of what you do every day and how you oversee the projects?
Well, we oversee the project by watching the work, make sure that the work is on schedule, that we're meeting the needs of our contractors and getting them information and responding to information requests or clarification on plans and details, and of course watching the budget on these projects.
Absolutely.
And watching the schedule to make sure that we're getting the work done in a fast and timely manner so we can get them open and get to work.
Fantastic. Well, Prentice, what can we expect to see in the next few weeks, or maybe we can stretch it out to a month? What can we expect
Over
to
the
see?
next month, you should see a lot more work on the south end parking lot. You should see the bricks starting in about a month, and as far as Walnut Street and the streetscapes portion of it, we'll just continue with brick pavers and sidewalks, and actually we'll start on Mulberry Street here probably in the next week.
Excellent. Well, over to our right, you see our historic Union Station. Can you tell me what's going to happen around Union Station?
Basically new parking. I think the future plans is to renovate Union Station, and a part of this project we're going ahead and finishing all the parking, and so you'll see new parking, new sidewalks in front of the building. You'll also see the completion of the parking on the south end.
Now, Randy, is there also going to be landscaping done, of course, around the historic Union Station as well as Gateway Transfer Center?
Yes, there will be landscaping for the site. The landscaping will be minimal in some areas so that it doesn't take away from the Union Station and then the historical, character of the site. But there will be a landscaping package around our parking areas, around the transfer station, as well as landscaping along our streetscape portions of it.
Okay.
There's already been some sod installed along Georgia, and there'll be some other trees and whatnot installed to spruce up the area as part of our streetscape enhancement activities.
Perfect. So August is when we can expect for all this to be a complete, done, shining star.
Yes.
on this side of town. Excited for Gateway Transfer Center to move in here. I know they're going to be absolutely in heaven and feel like they have moved to Hollywood because it is going to be a fabulous new building for them. It really is. We're excited. Julie, have you got anything else you feel like we need to add?
No, I think that's great.
Fantastic.
You covered it well.
Well, thank you all for coming out today. We'll be back in another month to give you another update on what's happening over here at the Gateway Transfer Center.